They swept the Rangers, and outside of the first inning, Christian Javier looked pretty good. He had a little struggles in the first inning, but overall, he had a pretty good game. Jose Altuve, he looks like he's rounding into form. And what is going on with Michael Conforto? Is this legit? Are the Astros really going out there and they're going to sign a free agent who hasn't played baseball in a long time? We're going to talk about this and more on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric. Find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros. Your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and Instagram, and at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros. You can also find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on TikTok, baby. Come see me.
All right, you can find the show on TikTok as well, Locked On Astros. Go subscribe to us there, and make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Keep us growing, keep the good times rolling. Give us a big like while you're at it, and go ahead and make us your first listen on the way to work, on the way home from work, or even at work if you want to. And just make us your first listen on whatever podcasting thing you want to listen to, Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen. Just make us your first listen. And today's episode is brought to you by Vroom. Vroom is you can buy a car completely online and have it delivered straight to you, so you never have to go to a dealership again. So next time you need to buy a car, just grab your phone, go to vroom.com, and check out thousands of great cars. And so, yes, I kind of feel like all these rumors about Michael Conforto is kind of like going to Vroom. I mean, you don't know what you're getting. You're just kind of ordering a DH outfielder online who maybe can't play outfield, and you don't know what you're going to get.
Well, I don't know. That might not be giving. No, I think Vroom, you know what you're getting, and that's why you go there, because they actually, this is the opposite of Vroom. Like, Vroom is what you do when you know what you're getting, like a Justin Verlander in 2017. Going to some other lame mail order car place would be like, what the heck is this? Right. Michael Conforto. What kind of engine is there? A scat pack? You know, how many horses does the engine have? You know, 0 to 60. How fast is this car? There is a lot of speculation out there, and obviously it's something that we're going to hit on throughout the show. And I don't want to take the whole first part of the show, because there was a huge Rangers sweep, and we need to talk about that. But I'll just throw my 2 cents in there. This completely caught me off guard. Like, this is not something that's on the radar, and the thing that's concerning to me is the fact that Boris said this will be for a DH spot only. I just don't see why a team would offer a player who can only play DH right now 2 years, $30 million if he's unproven. And trust me, there's all kinds of accounts reporting stuff, legit accounts that, but there's other accounts that are reporting stuff. And I would just say be cautious of who you listen to and who you let lead you down the primrose, because it's very easy to get tied up in this. And it's very easy to get tied into false rumors or speculation that will never happen. So we're going to basically go with what we understand the situation has been reported by actual people and what we think of that. So that's what we're going to do here. We're not going to make any calls or speculations or say that Locked On Astros is sources, because that's not what we're here to do.
Right. And according to Pat Ragazzo, he's a beats writer. He was the one that kind of broke the news or the rumor earlier. He said that the Astros have reportedly offered him a 2 years, the $30 million, like you said. But the deal expires tonight, because if they're going to offer him this deal, they want him for the playoffs, and they would have to have him on the team, on the 40-man roster before midnight tonight, or whatever the deadline is tonight. So yes, he did have. He was about to sign, or a lot of teams. There's a lot of speculation this offseason that he was going to sign with the team, but then Boris announced that he had a major shoulder surgery back in April. He's reportedly healthy and he's been playing independent baseball. So we don't know how healthy he is, how he's probably not going to play outfield, like you said. Last time he played baseball was 2021. He batted 232 with a 729 OPS, 14 home runs, 55 RBIs. In his heyday back in 2019, he batted 257 with 33 home runs, 92 RBIs. So he is a guy that you can maybe get on a prorated salary for 15 million. I don't know how much that would actually be. I'm not going to do the math for the rest of the season, but it's not going to be a lot for the rest of this year. But my thing is, like, why the next year? I guess in order to get him to agree to come here for a month and then the playoffs, you would have to guarantee the next season to get him to come over here. And so I think that's why the second year is coming into play. So there may be other teams that are going to playoffs and they're like, hey, we want to keep him away from the Astros. But at the same time, we have Alvarez who plays DH. We have Mancini who probably needs to play DH, or he's going to play first base, or maybe we'll see him play some more left field with the situation. But if this does happen sometime before the end of the day today, that would be a interesting move for the Astros. They're going to go out there. They're not satisfied with the team they have for the playoffs, and that would
Right.
be a bold move.
But yeah, it would be. I would say it would be a bold move if Conforto could play outfield, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we would know exactly why he would be brought to this team. He can't play outfield. The dude can't even
Right.
play in the field. So, and someone even asked, like, how would you do that 2 year? Would you prorate the last 5 weeks of the season and
That's
then
what
give
I
him
just
two
said. Yeah.
years? Yeah, is that? I mean, is that
No,
what you
it'll
would do?
be yeah, it's a 15 million for this year, and it'll be prorated for however much he plays for the Houston Astros.
Oh, I
No,
see.
he's
Okay,
not getting the
okay.
full 15 million this year.
Yeah,
So
no, I right. And and that's understandable. And I understand how someone would have that question because, baseball contracts and the ins and outs of all these financials, like when you really get into it, and I would love one day for someone to show me kind of the inside of these deals. I would love to have the opportunity to look at a contract, even if it was in confidence for, something from the past, like all the different things that they put on those contracts, because it's not just a sign you're getting 300 million and boom, you sign, or sign you're getting 15 million. There are things in there. There are different parts of it. There are moving parts. There are guaranteed. There are incentives. And it's an absolute legal nightmare if you're not a lawyer. And, Scott Boras, it must be nice to be his client, because it looks like, I mean, if this guy's getting looks and talks and he just had surgery in April, man, Scott Boras is a good salesman. But then again, maybe Conforto has something to offer. It just throws me off, Eric. It is not at all. If you would have said Michael Conforto's going to possibly sign with the Astros in, at the end of the season before the playoffs, I'd be like, is this a comedy show? Because it doesn't make sense. And so the Astros, if they do, they'll have to make it make sense.
all right. Somebody says that we're wrong that Conforto is looking for a longer deal. I think at this point, after not being able to sign a contract over this past off season, I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that he had a prospect being tied to him. That had something to do to him. Then he had the shoulder injury that kind of delayed him being signing with the team. And the fact that he hasn't played baseball, like he's probably playing for an independent league right now, but nobody knows what
He's
he can offer.
he's
So
not in a yeah, he's not
he's
in a
not get
position.
right.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's not, like I was going to say, he's not in the position to demand a long-term deal at this point. He wants
Not at
to
all.
do basically what Justin Verlander did this year. Prove that he's healthy. Come in, play for September, play into October, and then in all next year, and prove that he's healthy. He's just 29 years old. He still has a whole career ahead of him. He still can get a 5-year deal after his 29th year, or his 30 age season or whatever. But so he can still get that long-term deal. But I think that the Astros are looking at themselves and being like, do we have enough to
Yep.
I think they have enough to beat the Yankees, but they're asking themselves, do they have enough to beat the NL teams?
Yeah, but Michael Conforto is not that key. Michael
Right.
Conforto is not the missing piece. Like, well, if we had Michael Conforto, we would definitely beat the Mets. That's just not a logical piece. When you are talking about this in discussion and with him being on this team, I just it just doesn't really make it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, Eric. Um, because he has so much to prove, like you said. I mean, we just sent Jake Myers down because he's not 100% with his shoulder. And this guy just had surgery in April. How's he supposed to be more ready? How's he supposed to be able to hit more long term? Let's say he hits good for a couple games with whoever he signs with. Who's to say that's sustainable over a month, month and a half? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So he's definitely not signing a long term deal this year. We know that, and it's just one of those things that really makes you think. And I want to talk to y'all about something very serious, okay? Because we live in a day and a time where people are driving all over the place. Your lives are busy, but it's never okay to drive stoned. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, you get a DUI. It's never okay to drive stoned. You put yourself and others in danger. If you've been using marijuana in any form, do not get behind the wheel. If you feel different, you drive different, drive high, get a DUI. Do you think it's okay to drive stoned? The truth is, your reaction time slows way down when you're high. You not only put yourself in danger, but everyone around you. Stop kidding yourself. If you've been using marijuana in any form, do not get behind the wheel. If you feel different, you drive different. Are you one of those people who thinks it's okay to drive stoned? The worst that could happen is somebody can end up hurt, including yourself. Talk about a buzzkill. Stop kidding yourself. It's not okay to drive high. If you've been using marijuana in any form, do not get behind the wheel. This message is brought to you by the NHTSA. If you feel different, you'll drive different.
Hey, Brett, I'm so excited. At the end of the month, I'm going to see Steve Trevino. This is something, it's a comedian I've been looking forward to. And you know how I got those tickets? Simple Seats. It's great. Tell them about that, man.
Yeah, so Simple Seats is this place where you go to get tickets for Houston sporting events, Houston Astros. Like, y'all like having more money in your pocket, correct? I know I do. When that means if I buy tickets to a game, I'm not going to break the bank. I've used Simple Seats. I even used them a year before we even had them on the show as a sponsor. And I know they're trusted. I know they're guaranteed. And I don't have the silly 20% fee tacked on the end of my transaction. I can pick my seat or I can go to zone seating, which gives me an even bigger discount. So the goal for Simple Seats is get you to an Astros game, Rockets game, Texans game, A&M, UT, U of H. More teams are on their way, and you'll see the great selection they have. You'll see the great prices they have and the affordable prices, so you can go to more and more and more games. So it's simple. You go to simpleseats.com, you sign up, you use the promo code locked on 10, you get $10 off your first $50 purchase or more. That's locked on 10 for $10 off your first $50 purchase or more. You go to Simple Seats, there's no fees, it's easy to find, less money, more games. It's that simple.
All right, so we all know who Big Nick Turturro is. He's a big Yankees fan. And you might know him for cussing and making these videos about why the freaking Yankees, they keep on losing and all that stuff. But he's just made a video to say, why not take a shot with Michael Conforto? He's a good hitter. So if he's wanting the Yankees to take a shot with him, then why not the Astros? So I just think that the
Oh, take you said take a shot. I was like, wait, we just got to wait. Oh, take a shot, like sign him. I'm sorry. I
yes.
was my mind was in a different place after that read. My apologies.
But so I don't know what's going to happen with this. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know what it means for Alvarez. Does that mean that the hands are really not good? He did not play in today's game. I don't know if Dusty Baker talked about it after the game. I haven't seen any reports about Alvarez after the game, but this is something like I guess we're going to see more Alvarez in left field if this happens because Conforto is not he with his shoulder. He can hit, but he can't play the outfield, and it says that. So
Yeah, yeah. I just, like I said, until I hear something definitive from like a reliable source that says this thing's happened, I just don't. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, who are you gonna not have on the playoff roster because of Conforto? I mean, I tell you right now, though, I tell you who I don't expect to be on this playoff roster, Eric, and that's Mauricio Dubon. I just don't see him being on this roster. I'm dead serious. He's an absolute zero at the plate right now, and
okay,
I'm just saying. I mean,
who's gonna be your
if
center fielder then?
I don't know. I mean, I thought Conforto was going to be that guy until they said, "Oh, he can't play outfield." Well, I don't know. I guess Dubon makes his way on. You know, but at the end of the day, there are a couple concerning places. Is Diaz going to be healthy? How healthy? But one of the concerns I don't have is Alex Bregman, is Jose Altuve, who performed in the game, and heck, David Hensley even
Right.
got on the hit parade today against the Rangers.
Yeah, I know Chaz McCormick plays center field, but he's limited by the jam pinky right now. He couldn't even play in today's game. He did play on defense, but he couldn't bat. So I know Dusty Baker's playing it safe with him. So I know come playoff time, his jam pinky is not going to be an issue. And Dubon, he's got the dynamite arm in center field, and I know the defense can't be the end all, whatever. But yeah, I was looking at him like, wait. Does he actually play center field, Conforto? And he does. He's actually played in his career. He's played, let me see, about 146 games in center field. So he has played some games in center field. So, but
But
with a
that doesn't matter.
coming off shoulder surgery, I don't think he's going to be able to.
Well, because his agent said he's only going to DH,
Right.
so he's already confirmed that he's not going to play in the field. So let's do this. Let's move on from the Conforto thing because I think we're kind of beating a dead horse here. It really is to me. It doesn't mean anything to me until something actually happens.
Um, I
Javier, yeah.
actually no. Mr. Corona says just say y'all don't want Conforto. No, I wouldn't mind having him on. I don't know if I want him as the everyday DH. I wouldn't mind him as extra bat off the bench. So if he's
Well,
coming
because
on,
if he, if, good.
if he's coming on as an everyday guy, he's got to prove it. So if he's going to come on and just be a guy that's going to strike out every time because he's not ready for competition, then no, he doesn't deserve to start over somebody else. But if he's going to come up and earn the position, sure, he can be DH, put Alvarez in left field, and just pray that the defense. I mean, he's good a defender. He's a decent defender out there, but you're going to lose some defense out in left field if you're going to put Alvarez out there. But if Conforto is going to come on here to be a pinch hitter, a power hitter off the bench, somebody that can get some spot starts, if that's what the Astros are bringing him in for the 2022 season, then great. That's perfect.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't want him, it's that I don't want to discuss it until I know what is going on because there's no point of talking about it. It's really a waste of conversation. He can only DH, and if we're bringing him on to only DH, it makes me wonder about Yordan Alvarez. As far as I know, the club has not indicated that Yordan Alvarez is going to be out for a I mean, they expect to have him back. So I just, to me, why would you sign a guy that's coming off major shoulder surgery, that's 2 years, $30 million? You don't know what he's going to be when he comes back. Now, Jake Myers and Conforto, two different players. Conforto better than Myers, but you saw what Myers did when he came back from shoulder surgery. Who's to say that same stuff won't happen? So I think today it's really important that we focus on the fact that Christian Javier started out, Eric, with 30 pitches in the first inning, and it
Mm-hmm.
looked like Christian Javier wasn't going to last past inning one. I mean, they had people warming up in the bullpen pretty early, and he ended with 96 pitches, and 65 of them were strikes. He did end up recording 7 strikeouts. He only had 3 walks. He only gave up 4 hits, and he only gave up 3 runs. Typically, when a
Right.
pitcher throws 30 pitches in the first inning, that typically spells disaster. And
Yeah.
he got it back together and he fought through it. So good for him.
Yeah, it was actually 21 pitches before the first out and 38 total pitches in that inning. But
38.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but I get your point. It was crazy. Dusty Baker was even starting to warm up a pitcher in that situation, and we're like, oh, here we go. We're down to 5 starters, and now you're going to have this situation, and we don't even have Hunter Brown to come in at this point. So this is definitely interesting. But this is what Javier said: the breaking ball just wasn't working, and I think a lot of the hitters were just sitting on the fastball, and that's why they're able to just get a lot of foul balls there. And so Javier just threw a lot of he threw 14 breaking balls. Only one of them generated swing and miss, and they spoiled about 10 of the fastballs as well. And Dusty Baker had to get up and Maton in the first inning. So that was a pretty weird situation, something that we're not used to, especially
Yeah.
with as successful as Christian Javier has been this year. But but the good thing that from this game is for a second straight game, the Astros did something against a very dominant left-handed pitcher in Martin Perez, and somebody who doesn't walk a lot of batters. They drew 3 walks today, or actually 4 walks in the 5 innings. So that was great, and 3 of them came around to score. And he's only allowed 2.9 walks per 9 innings in his previous 25 starts. So this is not Perez. The Astros just very patient today. At the same time, they were very impatient, and they stranded a lot of runners on base. And
They
that seems to
did.
be the like they're 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position. That seems to go off yesterday's show, a big boo boo that the Astros can't seem to get to heal, and that's something that's
Well,
going to come back and bite them in the playoffs.
they were actually 3 for 13, so that's even worse. So you
Oh,
actually
okay.
gave them props. You gave them a 300 average where they have
No,
potential. So
sorry, that's actually against Perez.
oh, Perez. Okay,
Yeah,
well they
sorry.
were okay. Well they were three. That's okay. They were 3 for 13 in the game. They left 13 on base, and Dubon left 7 on base. Tucker left 5 on base. So the guys behind him, Hensley got 3 hits, Vasquez got 2 hits, and they between those 2 guys, they only scored 1 run each. And the reason why they only scored 1 run is because Mauricio Dubon was a rally killer today. And you spoiled a 3-hit game by Hensley. Had Hensley been hitting a little higher, maybe he comes around to score. Maybe he gets some RBIs. But, Kyle Tucker left 5 on base. The Astros are leaving too many men on base. And they typically do this, but what's weird is they're 17-11 right now in August. They have a better record. In 2017, they were 11-17. They were
Right.
6 games under 500. And so this is a big time
August
switch.
August has
August,
traditionally been a bad month for the Houston
and they're
Astros.
17 and
Right.
11. Is that a bad month? I mean, it's a winning month.
Right.
It's not bad. I mean, what do they have to be 20
No.
and what? You know what I'm
You're not
saying?
listening to what I'm saying. It's been traditionally a
Right.
bad month, and
No, I
so this
know.
is good. Yeah.
But I keep hearing people say, "Oh, they kind of slough off in August." They've actually won more than they've lost, and now
Right.
they've won 9 series in a row against the Rangers, continue their dominance, and they go on to Los Angeles to play the Angels of Anaheim. So the Los Angeles Angels is the and then Angels, because you say the Los is the in Spanish, then Angelus is angels. So they're the Angels. That's their name in English. I'm here reporting the facts.
Okie dokie.
I mean, think about it.
Open house went great, guys. Thank you, and Mr. JC Will. It was I mentioned on Twitter that we're gonna have a later show
Oh,
because we're
I was
open
like, how
house.
they know
So
we were at open house? He's like, people are
yeah,
stalking us. What the heck?
yeah. So it went great, but yeah, that's why our show's a little bit later today. But yeah, the Astros still have a 4.5 game lead over the Yankees. Unless did they play tonight? I haven't looked. We literally just walked in the door about 20 minutes ago. So, but the Astros
Yes,
have a big lead.
the Yankees
Go
are
ahead.
playing the Angels right now,
Okay.
and it's
So
0 to
it's
0.
nothing. Yeah, nothing. So right now they have a 4.5 game lead over the in the AL, and so they're trying to hold on to that number 1 spot. Is that a big deal? for the ALDS, maybe not, but for the ALCS, yes, it is, because you want that home field advantage. I know the Astros did in 2017. They lost. I mean, it helped them in the 2017 series to win that series, because they won the first two games. Then they lost all three games in New York, and then he came back and won the two games in Houston. So yes, home field advantage is so big in the ALCS. Do you absolutely have to have it? No, but it's so much better. So do the Astros have a chance to beat the 107 wins they got in 2019? I don't know. They'll have to go 23-8 the rest of the way to match that record, and I don't know if they can. They're capable of it, but Justin Verlander's out. We don't know what's going on with Alvarez. Is he going to miss an extended amount of time? Martin Maldonado, what's going on there? So we'll see what's going on in that situation. But the Astros are just a great team. This is the first time they've been really hit by the injury bug to this extreme, like with Verlander out, Brantley out, and now they're having all these little minor injuries with Diaz and all this. So I know that McCullers has been out for most of the year. Then he just recently come back, but we're
Right.
just right now having this brash of injuries, and the Astros are still having a big, one of the best records in baseball. So they're still a good team.
Yeah, they are. And I love what we have coming. I think our pitchers are going to be the superstars of this playoffs. I think Bregman and Altuve are going to lead the charge, and I just can't wait till we get through this month of September. It's just the playoffs couldn't get here soon enough. I'm anxiously awaiting it, and I mean, this has been a long season, Eric. This has been a long season, but it's been a fun season. And like I said, I'm going to stick with Framber Valdez being one of my dark horse candidates. He just moved into number 3 in the favorites for the Cy Young. He actually jumped McClanahan in some people's rankings of pitchers right now. We may see Justin Verlander and Framber Valdez being 1 and 1A like we did in 2019 when it was Cole and Verlander.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited to face Shohei Ohtani on Saturday. That's gonna be an interesting matchup. And we're actually gonna face him the next 2 Saturdays. So this Saturday and the next Saturday. So that's gonna be all Shohei Ohtani all the time. So that's what the Locked On Astro
Shohei
podcast.
Shohei Saturday, right? So we'll face him in Anaheim and then in Houston.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. Hey, I'm there. Man, I got to be there for that. I got to see me some Shohei. I'd love to I'd love to watch that guy take like batting practice. Well, I guess if he's pitching, if he's pitching, does he take batting practice? I would like to
I'm
know
sure
that
he does. I'm sure he
because he
does.
hits, right?
Right.
So, yeah, dude, and like Shohei Ohtani, man, like that guy, he's gone. There's no way the Angels keep him around because why would you wait till the end of that guy's contract? Because he doesn't stay in LA and I'm sorry, Anaheim. And the Angels are up for sale. I mean, they've got all kinds of stuff wrong with that organization. How do you have Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani and just you're just terrible all the time? And I love watching those guys play baseball because they're some of the best and they play it with the best attitude. But
Right.
man, what a waste of talent on a club that just continues to spin its wheels and go nowhere.
I know we complained about the Astros scoring runs, but if you look at what they've done per month with their OPS and their runs per game, you might be surprised. Like in April, they had a 661 OPS. They scored 3.8 runs per game. We all remember how much the offense scored in that. And then May, they had 736 OPS. They scored 4.2 runs per game. In June, they have a 788 OPS and they scored 4.8 runs per game. In July, they had a 771 OPS and they scored 4.9 runs per game. And in August, their OPS went way down to 735. We all know that they had a little bit of struggles, but their runs per game were still up 4.7. The Astros ERA per month is April 3.59, May 2.26, June 3.22, July 3.25, and August 3.0. And a lot of the August issues has to do with the bullpen. But I do want to say something about Wednesday's game versus the Rangers. That looked like a much more confident bullpen. That looked like
Oh
a
yeah.
bullpen that would be ready. That's October ready. And I think the Astros bullpen just hit a wall. They just were like exhausted. And I think they're just all, they had fatigue. And now they look like they're confident. Neris, the game before, he got the save. Then Montero came in, got the save today. So you have any number of guys that can come in and get the save. So
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you want to see. You want to see them bounce back. You want to, because they have been struggling. And what's funny is when they struggle, people complain. When they're successful, nobody says anything. Like, man, Montero was dominant that inning. Stanek
okay.
killed it. I mean, maybe Stanek, right?
Right.
But this relief core is one of the top relief cores in all of baseball. We've got the top rotation in all of baseball from front to back. When everybody's healthy, everybody's on the field. Look at our numbers. Look at our WAR numbers for our pitchers versus every other top four, top five. Nobody compares. We are the best, and we don't have DeGrom, Scherzer back to back, but we have Verlander, we have Framber. I think two of the top pitchers in the American League this year. Christian Javier is serviceable. Jose Urquidy is really having a good year, and Luis Garcia, he's been sputtering lately, but he has the ability to do great things and get a lot of strikeouts in a game. So I think they go into Anaheim and take care of business. To be honest, maybe Shohei takes care of them in the first 6 or 7 innings he's in there. Then the Astros take it from there. But then again, Alex Bregman versus Shohei Ohtani. Alex Bregman, Eric, is batting 375 for his career against him, and so
And
we will talk about that on our next show about him versus Bregman.
right, and Bregman has been hot in August. He's bad. He's got slash line at 362, 452, 681 with 7 home runs, 22 RBIs, and 94 at bats. And Altuve has been red hot as well. 330, 412, 540 with 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, and 100 at bats. So those guys have gotten red hot as Alvarez has kind of cooled down a little bit. And so that's good sign. Tucker's kind of been up and down. He's had a couple hitting streak, but the power has kind of got dipped a little bit, but I'm not worried about him at all. But a lot of people are talking about a Savannah Banana outfielder named Josh Reddick and how he's called out the Dodgers for cheating on Twitter, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but he basically said to a Dodgers fan, I mean, I don't know if it went further, but he basically said, "So you think your team didn't do it as well?" But a lot of people on the chat board are saying, "Well, instead of going out and getting Michael Conforto, why don't you go out and get Josh Reddick because he can potentially play outfield for you instead?" But he's playing for a exhibition baseball team in Savannah,
Yeah,
Georgia. So
no, look, love Josh Reddick. Nobody matches that guy's enthusiasm, energy, and love for the game. I mean, a great guy all
right,
around, a great community guy. Um, and really fell off statistically his last year here. That's why he didn't stay with the Astros.
right.
And I mean, yes, that would be great. That it kind of reminds me of the people saying, "Let's just bring Marwin back." No, don't bring Marwin back.
No, not
you
again
know,
this year.
but and Josh Reddick, I don't think he signed a contract. I think he was kind of doing a guest appearance. He made an amazing catch
Yeah,
in right
he made
field.
Sports Center.
He hit that massive bomb. He took his jersey off. He had the Spider-Man shirt, and then he did the Nature Boy Ric Flair walk to the plate. That is what you love. I mean, it would be cool to have him in the locker room. Like, I think Josh Reddick should be, like, I don't know, a hitting coach or a fielding coach. Just to have that guy around in the
Right.
clubhouse would be fun, would be cool. I promise you, you may see him in the playoffs with the Astros. You may see him wearing an Astros jersey sitting in the stands. He
Oh,
is that
he's
kind
still
of
a big
guy.
supporter. Yeah, he still supports the Astros, and a lot of the players from the 2017 team, they still talk like they're a member of the team just because they have that bond that team shared. And so I just think that's awesome. So while we wait to see as the 11 o'clock deadline, I think it's midnight Eastern, so that'll make it 11 o'clock our time. Deadline approaches. We still don't know who's going to be DFA'd to add Hunter Brown. And I know that James Click did not confirm that Yainer Diaz is coming up. But that's what the report by Mark Berman said. So two players, if that's the case, then two players will be needed to DFA to add space to the 40-man roster. And maybe, just maybe, that's why he couldn't confirm that Diaz was coming up, because they were talking to Michael Conforto. That's my conspiracy theory.
Oh, maybe so. It just doesn't make sense to me why you would get a guy that can only DH. You're just going to take, I mean, unless they just don't think Jordan's going to be able to hit for 2 or 3 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Someone says Trout is garbage. So is Mancini. Well, okay. You have the right to your own opinion. Yeah. Nico Goodrum comes to mind. Like I said, a Mushinski type player who I think would clear waivers. The Astros would be able to sign him
Ronel
back.
Blanco,
But
he can throw hard,
but
but I think he struggled with
but here's
command.
but here's the thing, and here's a point I was going to make going back to Conforto, Eric. Yes. What? Anyways, no, not Tyler
Not
White.
Tyler
We're
Wright.
not. So we're not signing Tyler. No, we're not signing Tyler White or Brett Wallace. Okay. So so here's the deal with the Michael Conforto. I was thinking about Scott Kazmir. I remember when Scott Kazmir made a comeback as a pitcher, and he was pitching with the Sugarland Skeeters when they were independent, and he did so well that the Oakland A's signed him to that like 1 or 2 year deal, and then he had success, and then he signed another deal, but then after that he kind of fell off. Michael
But then
Conforto
he
is going
came
to
back.
have to. Michael Conforto. What my point is, he's going to have to sign a short-term deal, prove himself before he gets anything longer term, and he may come back a better, stronger player with whoever signs him. But I think Hunter Brown being a part of this team is catamount to helping this team out, and I think Hunter Brown is the type of kid, of what I know about him, what I've seen, that even as a rookie, Eric, he could really help this ball club. Janer Diaz, I think, could help this club as well. But we don't know what those moves are going to be, and we're not going to extend this podcast to an hour and a half long just to find out who that is. We'll talk about it on the next podcast for sure.
Somebody seems to be thinking that they made a move already, but maybe not. All right. So that's all we got for this edition of the. I mean, somebody just made it seem like he already got waived, but I haven't seen anything official about it.
Hold on.
Goodrum.
Hold on. Who got what? Goodrum?
Yeah, but I'm sure Goodrum's going to get waived, but I haven't seen anything official about that yet. But somebody's got to get waived in order to open a spot on the 40-man roster. Just being on the taxi squad doesn't get your foot in the door. You have to actually get on the 40-man roster. So that has to be done by 11 p.m. tonight, Central Time. And if Michael Conforto wants to hop aboard the Astros train to the World Series, he better get a signing, because that deadline's approaching too. You've got what? An hour. Let's go, buddy.
Someone listen to this. Someone shared with me a picture. I won't say who. They said Michael Conforto is in Houston. He's at the Marriott. I think he's signing, and it's a Photoshop picture of
I know.
Michael
I already saw
Conforto.
that. It's
Oh, you
totally
already saw that.
Photoshopped.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. But this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, folks.
Yeah.
Do we need to do an after the show, Eric? I don't know.
Yeah.
If
We
you get
may
something
may
there
do that.
credible, let me know. Okay.
All right. That's all we got for
Let's
this
go and wrap
edition
this
of the
up.
Locked On. Yeah. That's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. Great series. Another victory for the Houston Astros. Keep on getting those W's. It's always great to beat up on your the buddies from the North. And that's all we got. My name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett H. Down Wheelhouse. We are the Locked On Astros podcast. And we'll talk to you later. Go Stros.